What's your thoughts on scripts?
You have to have an outline, especially if you're new. You need to
Mhm.
know what to say to a client.
Gives you confidence for sure. Yeah.
It definitely gives you confidence. If you get lost, the client will oftentimes get you off script, but it gives you a place to come back to. All right.
Yeah.
And that's what a script is for. A script should gives order to the conversation. Like, we're not just calling up randomly just to shoot the breeze with somebody, right?
Mhm.
Like, we're calling up because they sent in a form, they sent a request, they clicked on an ad on Facebook or wherever, and I'm calling them to engage in a process.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. And today, dude, you guys have seen this man a bunch over the years. He's got an amazing organization, huge team, lives in Puerto Rico, great family, a bunch of amazing agents that he works with. I love this dude. Please welcome back Mr. Edward Pritchett. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm always doing good when I got my Cody Askins pen in hand,
Oh,
ready to take notes. Repping it anywhere I can.
dude, I know I'm gonna take a bunch. Dude, when I hang out with you, I take notes. That's what I've learned. We got a chance to hang out for the Agency Investor Show, which will hopefully come out at some point. Like back in May.
Yeah.
And we got to spend a couple days together, like full days, like sitting in the studio together. And man, dude, that was the masterminding that was happening amongst that group. That was
It was
awesome.
good. It was good. And it's still working. There's still things coming from it.
That's awesome. I love it. I love to hear that. Well, dude, I think one of the things I want to really focus on, you've got like a new kind of I would say like a new modern way of selling life insurance from home, at least from a process standpoint. It's a little more conversational versus consultative. And you actually shared that you are over the last 3 months, you're averaging over $50,000 in personal production with a 90% plus placement rate over the last 90 days, which is crazy because you're running a $60 million life insurance organization. You're involved in real estate. You have an RIA, like you have a bunch of things going on, and you still find time to write 50 grand a month,
It doesn't take that much time anymore. That's
That's
the beautiful thing. Like,
crazy.
this whole thing about like selling from home. It does, like, I can remember, Cody, like, getting started in this industry, living in Nashville, North Carolina, and driving 4 hours to Charleston, South Carolina to run appointments for an evening, and then driving back home the same night because I had to be back in the office, get that next batch of leads, make some more calls so I could go somewhere else the next time. Like, you had to go where the leads were at the time, things of that nature. So
Yeah.
that windshield time, while it was great. I loved my windshield time for, I got to listen to some of my favorites, Tony Robbins, got to listen to John Maxwell. Like, I got to spend some time with some folks on those books. And of course, making calls, talking to agents, building my organization during that time. But man, how much more effective can we be now where you're able to cut out 4 hours of window time, one way. And
Yeah.
like, if I get porched, because guess what? I don't know if you've ever been porched, Cody. I know you set those very solid appointments. No porching ever happens for you.
I wish.
Which most agents, like modern agents today, I say porching, and they're just like, what are you porching? What is that?
Yeah.
But when you set that appointment and the client's not there, right? Now, if I get, is it zoomed, zorched? I don't know. We'll have to come up with a new name for it. But like, when that happens,
Yeah.
guess what? I get to just jump to the next thing. I'm sitting right here. I get to do some other work that, trust me, I have stacks of work that need to get done. So I get to be very efficient with my time. And then I can also, if I really want to run an appointment right then and there, I just get my leads, pick up, dial. And guess what? There may be someone who's ready to go ahead and jump into an appointment right now. So like, we're able to do this in such a shorter time frame. So I might spend on any given week maybe 20 hours in total on my personal production.
Wow.
So 20 multiply that out. That's 80 hours in a month, and you can do the math on that. Last month, the month of well, we're still in technically kind of end of October, 1st of November, but for the month of October in total, over $48,000 in production. Do the hourly numbers on that, right?
Yeah.
48,000 divided by 80. I'm no longer on a starting contract, which, I mean, that I know that can range depending on where you are.
Mhm.
But I'm definitely above the 100% contract. I'll leave it at that. So, I mean, it gets to be a very profitable business when you're doing it that way. And what we're seeing is that with some of these instant decision products, right? So,
Mm.
carriers are telling me your client is approved while I'm on the phone with them. It took me 8 minutes to fill out the application. I'm giving them their policy number at the end of the appointment,
Incredible.
right? So the follow up, I'm not having to check with pending and do all the follow up stuff that we had to do. I'm not even talking about 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I got started in this industry. I mean, just 5 years ago, we used to have to do a lot. There was a lot of follow up afterwards to make sure the policy got issued. Now I know it's been issued, it's been drafted from the client's account. I'm getting paid commissions the next day. So it's like with that being on the table for us, the thing that separates people who are making money in this industry and those that aren't, it's how are you going about this process? If you're going about this process in the same way that Glenn Gary and Glenn Ross did, back in I don't even know when
Mhm.
that movie was made, the 70s,
Long
60s,
time ago.
a long
Yeah,
time ago. But guess what? People are still selling just like that.
true.
AIDA, right? You know, always be selling. I get it. I get it. Like the numbers game still does matter, but we've learned so much more in 50 years. Hopefully, or
Yeah.
okay, some of us have learned so much more in 50 years. Some of us are still trying to sell in the same way, and you're wondering why am I not getting where I want to get? And I think that's what we can talk about some today, and I can share just the little tidbits of things that I've been picking up and what's been working for me, not just in the past 3 months. I was blessed to be able to kind of start my transition to having to sell virtually because I moved to Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
Right. So I can't just go. My client, oh, yeah, you can come over tomorrow. No, I can't. I'm staying right here in Puerto Rico. So, like, if
Yeah.
we can't do this over the phone or virtually, then it's not going to happen. So it forced me to start making that shift. It forced me to look for new mentors, new training. And that's what I want to encourage. If you're a new agent, I encourage you, like, find those additional resources, find those mentors who can help train you and teach you. And then don't just listen to them one time and think you got it. Like, this is those things that you got to practice, you got to drill. I saw something that you posted. You were talking to your team the other day, Cody, and you were talking about, like, do you want to practice hard or work hard?
Mm.
Right? Like, I practice hard so that I don't have to work as hard. If you don't practice, if you never practice what you're going to say, your script, and I use that with air quotes, if you practice your script, what you're going to say, if you practice how am I thinking through booking my appointment, running that appointment, what's the process, what am I actually trying to do here with this client? If you really practice that with either a significant other, my wife is I love practicing with her. Like, we practice,
Mhm.
she gets tired of it sometimes, but we practice scripting, and I'm running an appointment with her and say, no, give me some objections, right? Like, be tough. Like, you don't want me to be on this call with you. See if you can get me off the call, and I'm going to try to work to make sure I can keep you engaged naturally, right?
Yeah.
So it's these things that really, I think, if agents spend more time working on, they're going to be able to spend less time working and be more profitable overall.
True. Yeah, very, very true. That's crazy. 20 hours total. About 80 hours a month to write about 50 grand, which is incredible. And I felt like I need to be better with my time. That's what I'm learning today as I see how much you're juggling and how efficient you are. I'm like, gosh dang it, I'm getting smoked, bro. Well, I love it though. You mentioned one thing I wanted to go to for a second before we jump to some of the new modern ways of like conversational selling and not trying to hardcore close people all the time. Um, you mentioned that you were forced into selling virtually. And I still have the agents that try to do both. They're
Mm,
like, I'm going to sell in person and over the phone.
yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Should you lean one way or the other? Should you just do virtual? Is it okay to do both? Is it a kind of a like a backup plan, so to speak? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. I have quite a few agents, and I still love you if you watch this. That they try to do both. And what I know is, like, what I focus on, like where I put 100% of my energy, that's what gives me the best results.
Mhm.
And when I try to split my focus, I see diminishing returns whenever I split my focus.
Yeah.
So my thought would be, if I'm in the current day and age that I'm in right now, and this is what people are used to, this is what clients are looking for the most part. I always get it. Well, in my area, they still want to see you face to face, and you can't do this over the phone in blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Fill in
Yeah.
whatever place that you want to fill in. But the thing is, like, if I let my client know this is the way we do it,
Mm-hmm.
this is the only option that I have for you. How important is this? What's your situation look like? What's going on? Why did you fill that form out and send that back? Is there something
Exactly.
you were worried about? Like, and then I get them talking about that. And then when we start focusing on them, it doesn't matter how I service them. It doesn't matter where I'm coming from. And at the end of the day, this methodology that we now have available to all of us, I just got to learn a little bit of technology. I got to learn how to use Zoom. I mean, I did my first appointment actually this past month via WhatsApp. Like, I've never done an appointment via WhatsApp, but
Wow.
the guy, he didn't trust Zoom for whatever reason. I mean, I get it, but he didn't trust Zoom. And I was like, well, do you got Facebook Messenger? Oh, I hate that, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, what do you have?
Yeah.
He's like, well, WhatsApp's the most secure thing, end-to-end encryption, blah blah blah. Like, we can do WhatsApp, right? And so I had to go figure out. Okay, one, I didn't even know before I said that if I could share my screen via WhatsApp. So I had to go do.
Oh, can you?
You can,
Oh,
yes,
cool.
yes. So and that's the thing. Like, I didn't know before, but this was where he wanted to be able to meet, and we did it. And I found out how to download WhatsApp to my desktop. So I have the desktop version now. It allows screen share. It allows me to record, like, everything that I've been doing. I was able to do and meet the client where the client wants to be met, right? But still do it in a virtual manner.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I'll have agents that'll be like, man, if they won't do it this way, I'm not doing it. It's like, yeah, really?
Yeah. It's really tough to reach as many people as you can. Like, if you're trying to be more effective and efficient, like, I get it. I'm not trying to say don't go out there and door knock. Like, there's some people you are not going to be able to get them to pick up the phone. If I can't make them pick up the phone, I can't book an appointment. So for some of you out there, and maybe it's like, this is where I could see there being kind of a duality thing, is like, if you want to pick up a whole bunch of bonus leads or aged leads that people, they've been dialed through and they never pick up the phone. They don't respond to text messages from people that they don't know. But if you go and knock on the door, they're happy to have a conversation with you, right? Like, that's the easiest way to spend age lead money and get new lead results. But it's still just going to be a handful of those within that. So you got to schedule that time. You got to go out. You got to go driving and do those door knocks. And what I see most agents do is they kind of shirk that actual duty. They say they're going to do it, but they don't actually go out and do that. And then they complain about the results that they get. Okay, so then do it in this way, where if I can sit in front of my computer, I can make my dials, I can book appointments, I can schedule 18 or 20 appointments in a week, knowing that, guess what, the show rate may be a little bit lower if I'm not good at locking that appointment in, but I have 20 in there. And the ones that don't show, I'm not worried about it, because I just get to go on to the next one. And I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to leave my office. If you're working from an office, like, I'm right there getting to see all my clients. That person who's doing the more activity is going to outproduce someone who, maybe every now and again they actually go out and door knock and see people face to face,
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you said that earlier. I had someone about like certain locations. I had someone in an event this weekend in Memphis that said that my way of overcoming objections just doesn't work in Memphis. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, sure, sounds good.
Yeah. If that's what hey, guess what? That person's right.
Correct.
They're right. They're totally right. It doesn't work for you.
Exactly. You mentioned and I like this, don't split focus. I love that. You mentioned, there's a couple areas I want to go, but you mentioned script. What's your thoughts on scripts?
You have to have an outline, right? You have a script because, especially if you're new, you need to know what to say to a client.
Gives you confidence for sure. Yeah.
It definitely gives you confidence. If you get lost, the client will oftentimes get you off script, but it gives you a place to come back to. All right.
Yeah.
And that's what a script is for. A script should gives order to the conversation. Like we're not just calling up randomly just to shoot the breeze with somebody, right?
Mhm.
Like we're calling up because they sent in a form, they sent a request, they clicked on an ad on Facebook or wherever, and I'm calling them to engage in a process. So like that's what the script is. The script is that process engagement, right? But what I don't want to be is I don't want to be scripted.
Yeah.
Right. I was on a on a call actually earlier today. I have a rental car right now, and the check engine light came on, and I called. I won't mention the name of the rental car company, but I called the rental car company, and the guy who answered my call was obviously on a script because I was calling to say, "Hey, look, I have a check engine light issue. Should I just take it right back to the rental car location? Do I need to file something with you guys first, and you guys let them know?" And then after I had to explain myself, I was like, "Okay, sir, thanks for calling. If you want to change out your credit card, you can do that at the location." I'm like, "I'm not talking about my credit card, man. I'm talking about the check engine light came on." Like he wasn't listening. He was just on the script. It was one of those where you have to respond to certain prompts. And like
Yeah.
that was the only prompt that I could talk to a person. So I got there, and then his script said that I was calling about credit card changing or whatever. Right.
Right.
And that's the route he get. And do you think that I was very happy when he responded that way? Or did I build up some resistance to him instantly? And it was
Right.
instant resistance. I was like, all right, dude, look, let me I'll call somebody else. You have a good day. And I hung up. Right. And
Mhm.
that's what happens oftentimes whenever I hear new agents on the phone, they're running their dial to try to book an appointment, and they're just going off of the script, and you hear the client give them something, but because the next part of the script says that you should ask for XYZ, that's what they do. And the client gets frustrated.
Mm.
And then the agent's wondering, like, why did he get frustrated? I was on the script, but you weren't listening to him.
Yeah.
You weren't listening to her. And so the script gives you an outline, but you still have to. And that's the shift that we see happening in a very real way in I think every type of sales. Like this is not just for people in the life insurance industry. This is for every industry. People want to have a conversation with someone who actually is paying attention to them
So
at
good.
the end of the day. Like
So
they're
good.
wanting to have dialogue, right? Like we'll get on the phone and talk to a friend for hours, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a scripted, like you called, you had an ideal of why you called, and then you just have the conversation. They say something, you're actually listening to what they say, and then the way you respond is usually in regards to what they just said to you, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do when we're looking to book an appointment to talk to someone about taking care of their family because of a form that they sent in about some type of life insurance that they saw that they had an interest in. And if
Yeah.
we can remember that as agents, like, yes, learn your script, know your script, but know it well enough that it's just a part of what you do. This is
Mm.
why I'm saying you got to practice it, right? Practice with a partner, call your brother and say, "Hey, can I practice my life insurance script with you?" Call a friend or a good buddy. "Can I practice my life insurance?" Get someone else on your team. "Hey, can we practice?" I promise
Yeah.
you, spending 20, 30, 40 minutes few times a week for a few weeks is going to make it so that it just rolls off your tongue, right? Like you know
No
where
doubt.
you are in your script, and now you can start having real conversations with clients. And when you start doing that, you're going to see appointment numbers go up. People are going to start showing up for their appointment because they know you're there for them. You're not there to
Mhm.
sell them something. You're there because, oh yeah, Cody was listening to me and he knows our situation, and he helped me figure out what this problem was, and he says he has a solution. And we're going to meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and dive in even deeper and figure out what, if anything, we can do. Right? Like that's what I want them leaving
Yeah.
that appointment call with, and that's where you're going to start seeing people show up to the appointment more often. Right? Be more engaged with you when they show up because they're actually looking for, man, we're finally going to solve this problem. This has been a worry, a concern, a fear. This is something that's been just bothering me right here for so long. And I
Mm.
finally get to talk to someone that can help me get rid of that.
Yes.
That's what they're showing up for. They're not showing up to buy insurance from me.
No.
They're showing up to get relief, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's strong. I actually wrote down something earlier when you were talking. That and you really what you keep speaking to, I feel like, is around this concept of I think rapport has become like a lost art.
Hmm.
in sales, and I see it in a lot of offices, especially like PNC offices. Rapport gets ignored in a lot of cases, and it's not like want to be robotic or scripted or you have to spend 7 minutes or whatever, but like the whole thing is a potential rapport. And I think a lot of people disconnect with that and forget to have like actual real human conversations like you're talking about. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that connecting piece is where when I drill with my agents during our morning huddles, that's what we drill the most on. It's just what that first
Yeah.
15 seconds, 20 seconds. Are you actually connecting with this person? Or are you throwing up the red flags that this is another salesperson that they need to get off the phone and by any means necessary,
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. It's funny because agents will say, I've heard it happen too. They'll be like, "Hey, what got you thinking about this?" And the person will say, "Yeah, my husband passed away a few months ago." "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And what kind of quote would you like?" It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, really? What would you think if somebody responded to you that way, right? So it's like, it's amazing, but it's like it is such a lost art. So I love that you're talking about it so much. We were talking about too, like some of the things that you're doing that are a little more modern, as you feel like your ability, but also your training and some of the ways that you're actually selling life insurance virtually have changed. And we're talking about a bunch of that. What else are we missing that we need to teach or hone in on?
Well, I mean, we talk about this a lot from the recruiting side, the why. Like
Mm,
why someone wants to be an insurance agent, 6-figure income, time and money, travel,
yeah.
whatever it might be, right? We talk about that a lot, and we think we understand the why for our clients. We think we do. Like they send in a lead. Like I have a piece of paper with mortgage protection, final expense, general life, IUL lead,
Yeah.
annuity, whatever it is. Like, and we think that's their why. But Cody, you and I both know, like, is that why they sent that in? Like they don't really care about the life insurance. They don't care about the annuity. They don't care about the IUL.
Mm-hmm.
They care about their that emotional response that they have when they think about a certain issue, right? There's an issue
Yeah.
that they have. There's you could call it a situation that they're in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there's something going on in their life that made them do what, and I know this on the mortgage protection side, right? 99% of the people don't send that form back or something like that, right?
Yeah.
98, 97, whatever it is. But there's a small percentage of all those mailers that go out. There's a small percentage that actually send that back. And they didn't send that back just because they were just like, oh, this is fun to fill out paperwork and forms and let's see if someone will call me. They sent it out because they picked it up, and as they were reading, there was something in there that just caught them, just a touch.
Yeah.
Right? Not big. It was just small right now,
Mm-hmm.
but it caught them enough, small enough that they actually went through the process of filling out the form. Same thing with someone who clicked that Facebook lead, who responded to that ad, telemarketer ad, whatever it was, or telemarketer call. They responded because there was something that was said, something that happened that triggered something in them. And this is kind of that art of really discovering the why. If I want a strong appointment, I need to understand why they felt that in. What was
Mm.
that situation that was going on? What was the concern that they had? What made them do something that a lot of people who don't care about this don't do what you did? So what was it, Cody, that had you send that in? What was your concern or the worry, or what was it? Can you remember back to that point in time? Like why'd you? And a lot
Mm.
of times they may give you just a surface level answer. They may just say,
Sure.
"Well, I just want to see get some numbers." Okay, well, but get some numbers for what reason? I'm not trying to be funny here. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't care about their families enough to actually take the time to have these conversations. What is it that makes you want to find out about what numbers might be possible for you, what price might be possible, because I'm going to I want to go deeper than that surface level
Mm.
knee-jerk reaction, and spending some time there in, again, going back to what we were just talking about, in a conversational way, not in a scripted way. I
Yeah.
really have to turn on. I had an agent a long time ago, and I share this all the time, but she took out a lead and she was like, you can either see it as a dollar sign. That's what she wrote on the front side, or she turned it over and she had drawn a nice. She was actually a good artist. Mine would have been stick figures and stuff, but like it was a picture of a house with a family in it, it kind of evoked a little bit of emotion in the agents who were watching her when she presented that, right? And it's like, is that what I'm thinking about when I'm trying to figure out the why, or am I just thinking about that dollar on the other side?
Yes.
And if I can really have a conversation around that, people will have a conversation about that. They'll talk about themselves and their concerns and their fears. I had a call with an older gentleman just this morning who responded to an IUL lead that I'm working. And I mean, we talked about so many different things. We definitely don't have time for all that. But like, he just wanted to talk. He wanted to talk. He wanted to find out. And he's older than my typical client that I would do a policy like this for, but he has a strong enough why. And he has, by the time we were done, Cody, he was like, this is my first call with him. By the time we're done, he's like, all right, so look, I want to take this $100,000 that I've been setting aside. I want to front load this thing. I've been doing my research. Like, we got to make this happen. Are you the one to help me make this happen? I was like, that's what we're going to do Thursday, 10 o'clock, your time. Did you get the Zoom link? Yep, you got it. Okay, you're good with Zoom. And we talked about how good he is with Zoom and all this other stuff. And I almost guarantee you, Cody, that come this Thursday, I'm going to be sitting down with that client and we're going to be talking about what's going to be the best way. Like, I'm not even worried about, even with his age, it's going to be, the insurance part is going to be a bit expensive, but we're going to get that $100,000 where he wants it to be, because he is worried about the safety of his money. And he doesn't trust, he trusts insurance companies. He knows they're going to be the ones to protect his money. But cool. That wasn't the first thing he told me. Yeah. Right. That wasn't his first response. That came from having dialogue with him, being willing to be just open and listen to his situation, learn about his service in the military back in the 60s and 70s, learn a little bit more about the divorce that he went through about 7 years ago, learn about the estrangement between him and his kids. And some of you may be like, well, I don't want long conversation. Like, okay, don't have a long conversation on an appointment, right? Like, there's those points, like, I'm asking questions along the way to where I know, like, is this something I can actually do? And if it's not, then I can let the client know, you know what, Cody, I don't think that this is probably going to be a good fit for you, but I hope you find what you're looking for, and let that client go, right? Yeah. So I'm not just having a conversation just to be having it. I'm digging in so I can find out, is there even a sale to be made here? Am I going to waste my time? Or am I going to waste the client's time? And if I can have that kind of a conversation, and I'm willing to let people go, which I let more people go, then I move forward with the appointment. That's how I protect my time. That's how I'm efficient with the people that I sit with, right?
That's awesome.
And as I develop that and develop those skills to really be able to pull that out, it makes me a better agent. It makes me a more effective and a more efficient agent. And that's what I think a lot of agents today, they're not working on that. They're going for those surface level things. They're trying to well, I'm just going to consult them into this policy. Nobody wants to be consulted into anything, right? Like, they want to buy, they want to buy, they want to have choice, right? They want to get their needs met, and they want someone who's willing to listen and find out what those actually are. And the more you do that, the simpler this thing honestly becomes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that answer so much. And I like that we're putting an emphasis on conversational selling, listening to people, like, it's just so, and then by the time you spend all that time with that guy, like, there's so much trust, there's so much rapport, like, there's so much understanding. They feel like they were able to talk and somebody's listening. Like, I love that. Well, buddy, if they want to continue to learn more about you and connect or reach out, what should they do, or where should we send them?
Well, I have a channel on YouTube, which is called Life Insurance Today. We actually we're no Cody Askins for sure. We just crossed 1,000 subscribers recently. 1,000 subscribers. I'm excited about it, but I'm really working to, like, this information does not need to be bottled up. Whatever's working for me, I'm trying to share it right there, so they can definitely connect and get that training. And I try to put out at least once a week new training, and then, of course, multiple times a week, little short tidbits here and there. Instagram, TikTok, we're definitely all over there. The Edward Pritchett. So just check us out there, and then feel free to just reach out, DM. I don't know what it's called on TikTok, message or whatever it is.
I guess,
hit us up. My team really does a good job of getting information to me from people who are reaching out. And what I'm really excited to be able to do in this industry right now, this trillion-dollar industry, is empower others to really get the success and growth that they deserve, because it's out there. It's out there for the people who go and put the work in. So if you're willing to dig in, find out the information, practice the information, and go use it, man, I want to get it to you so that you can have your success story, because we need more people doing what we do, for sure.
Amen. Yep. And I love that you're able to help our audience and so many others with this as you're helping, I don't know, like 900,000 agents a month, constantly, which is cool. Buddy, I appreciate your time. I know you're super busy. I appreciate you always being willing to give back and spend some time being on the channel once again. So thanks for being on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to the next time.
Let's go. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening, man. That dude, I love Edward Pritchett. Go follow him. Keep checking out what he's doing. Dude cares. Dude is super knowledgeable and is still producing for whatever reason, just for the fun of it. Either way, thanks for hanging out on the Power Player Podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Adios.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Okay, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.